It happened a few years ago while my husband and I were driving across the country from New Jersey to California. Our route wasn't the fastest one, but it passed through a few places my husband really wanted to visit. The downside was that it meant driving through some extremely isolated stretches of highway. The worst part was a section of eastern Kansas along U.S. Route 400, about 120 miles of nothing but open fields. We had spent most of the day driving, and I had fallen asleep in the passenger seat around sunset. I'm one of those people who can sleep anywhere, even in a moving car, so I got a few solid hours of rest. Around 10 p.m., I woke up when the car started slowing down and realized my husband was pulling into a small gas station on the side of the highway. He said he was going to grab some snacks and top off the tank. I figured it might be my last chance for a while to use a real bathroom, so I got out and went inside. I didn't bother taking my phone or my bag with me. I was just running in and out quickly and didn't think I needed them. The cashier was an older man who didn't even look up when I walked in. The bathrooms were hidden down a narrow side hallway toward the back of the store. When I opened the door to the women's restroom, I nearly ran into a woman coming out of one of the stalls, and that alone wouldn't have stood out if not for what she looked like. She was disheveled, unkempt, honestly a little gross, with dingy gray-white hair that looked strangely sticky. She was also wearing slippers that made a soft, wet slapping sound when she walked. As if that wasn't strange enough, the thing that stood out the most was the thick purple and green coat wrapped tightly around her. Keep in mind, it was the middle of summer in Kansas, and the temperature was probably around 85 degrees Fahrenheit. She was holding a plastic grocery bag and just stared at me when she saw me. It wasn't a normal, oh, excuse me kind of look. It was locked in and expectant, like she was waiting for me to say or do something specific. I wasn't sure what to do, so I just nodded politely and tried to step past her, but she clearly wasn't on the same page. Instead of leaving, she actually turned around and followed me into the sink area. But she didn't turn on the water, didn't look in the mirror, didn't do any of the normal things you'd do at a sink. She just stood there with her arms at her sides, like she was still waiting for me to do something. I already felt uneasy, so I went to the nearest stall and locked it behind me. The moment I sat down, a wave of deep regret hit me for not bringing my phone or anything with me. If something went wrong, I had no way to quickly reach my husband. And I was starting to feel more and more certain that something was very wrong with this woman. I sat there for what felt like several minutes, just waiting for her to leave. Eventually, I heard the soft slap of her slippers moving toward the door, followed by the sound of the bathroom door opening and slamming shut. I waited a few more moments just to be sure she was really gone, and then I noticed something. I could still hear breathing. Not my breathing, someone else's, coming from somewhere inside the bathroom. That's when it hit me. She had pretended to leave. She must have opened and slammed the door to make it sound like she'd gone, but she was still inside, standing quietly somewhere near the exit, probably in the corner right outside my line of sight. I didn't move. I sat completely still for a long time, barely breathing because I was terrified she'd hear me. The entire time, I kept thinking about how stupid I was for not bringing my phone. Finally, the door opened and closed again. The breathing stopped too, and a wave of relief washed over me. Still, I wasn't convinced. I waited another 30 seconds. Just as I was about to unlock the stall, I heard a sharp inhale, like someone taking a big breath after holding it, and then the bathroom door opened and closed again. That's when I truly started to panic. That woman had pretended to leave the bathroom twice. I had absolutely no idea what she wanted, but the fact that she was playing these games with me made it very clear it wasn't anything good. I didn't know what to do. Part of me was sure she had finally left, but if she had faked it twice already, it wasn't crazy to assume she could be doing it a third time. Eventually, the tension was unbearable. I unlocked the stall as quietly as I could and stepped out, fully expecting to see her standing there. But the bathroom was empty. I rushed out in a panic. I had no idea where she had gone or whether she was waiting for me somewhere else in the store. When I returned to the main area, a man was paying at the counter. I lingered beside one of the front shelves until he finished and headed for the exit. Then I used him as cover to leave the store. I figured that if the woman was waiting outside, at least there would be another person nearby. Part of me thought I was being overly paranoid, but that idea shattered the moment I stepped outside. As soon as I exited the store, I saw her again. She was lingering near the front entrance this time, openly staring straight at me. She was holding something in her hand that I couldn't clearly make out. It looked like it might have been a knife, but I wasn't sure. Still, the way she was gripping it, and the way her body was slightly crouched, like she was ready to spring, honestly made it look like she was about to attack me. I forced myself to prepare to scream, to run, even to fight if I had to. But instead of moving toward me, the woman suddenly turned and quickly walked around the back of the building. I ran to our car. My husband looked confused and asked why I had taken so long. I told him I would explain once we were back on the road. He didn't question it and pulled away immediately. As we left, I looked back and saw the woman standing at the corner of the building, watching our car. I don't know why, but seeing her standing there made me feel deeply unsettled. I told my husband everything. He was rightfully angry that I hadn't brought my phone with me, but what was done was done. As scared as I was, we understood. We just had to keep going and try to forget about it. Since that day, I have never, ever found the courage to use a roadside bathroom again.